can't get enough of that at all. Oh, hello.
Oh, hello,
Sam
Jeremy.
Khoury.
How are you?
Mr. Khoury, it is a pleasure to have you on this pod right now. I am very fortunate to call you a colleague, to call you a good friend. Tell us,
Same.
who do I have the pleasure of speaking with right now? Who are you?
I am Sam Khoury, Chief Strategy Officer at Marketecture, friend of Jeremy Bloom's.
What is Marketecture? What is that?
We're a new kind of non-boring B2B media company disrupting the space. Can I say that?
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Totally personality-driven, content-driven, knowledge-driven, fun and exciting new business.
So tell us a little bit about you, about your career, about your life. You're a dad. You've got two very sweet little girls. Not that little, but you're
growing up fast.
Yeah. Our kids are around the same ages. So let's hear.
Sam Khoury. I come from a background of working in advertising pretty much my entire career. Started off in the automotive space, worked at a company called Motor Trend, owned by Source Interlink Media, changed to the Enthusiast Network. I think it's rebranded since then as well. Moved into the video game and then moved into Freewheel in early 2017, and then spent some time at T-Mobile. As a person, I'm extremely, what's the right word? I'm a very good generalist. Like I have a very good understanding of the space overall, a very good understanding of how things work, how everything's tied together. And at the same time, just love to collaborate. Like my whole mantra in life is you can't know it all, but you've got to know someone who knows it. And they'll fill the gap, you know?
Well said. I agree with you about being a generalist. And since you've joined Marketecture and been part of the team, it has been impactful thinking how you look at strategy, how you look at partnerships, and at the same time want to make sure that there is involvement. So why don't we talk a little bit about, from your career, just aspects that have made you who you are today, with the sense of you've been in this game for about 20 years, a little bit over. We're approximately the same age. You've lived in different parts of the world. You've been parts of startups, giant companies. You've worn different hats. What are some who are some people along the way that have made a meaningful impact on you and helped you to get to where you are?
That's tough. When I think about that, I think it's more than one. Like I think in my life, I have this balance, right? Like I have this like weird advisory board of like friends and colleagues and former colleagues and industry leaders and etc. So for me, I believe that the way that you actually grow in life is having the right conversations with the right type of people, depending on the topic. The great thing about friends is that friends will always tell you what you want to hear. And that's great. And it's a great like ego boost, right? Like, oh man, you're great. You're doing great in your career. You're doing fine in your job. Sounds like you're killing it. Yeah.
Pros and cons.
I think sometimes it's nice to have that like neutral outside voice that can tell you, hey, this is your weakness. This is where you need to step up. This is where your train of thought is correct or incorrect. And that comes from having a variety of board members that you can talk to on a regular basis that kind of give you that snippet of life and advice that you need.
Are there any particular board members that you can talk through that have providing meaningful snippets of guidance, advice that have helped you along your way?
Yeah. I mean, you're one, right? Like we've been friends for quite some time. Like you're for sure a mentor, someone I talk to often. Rick Holtman is another. Daniel
Rick's
Church
great.
Is another. Alexander Groisman is another. On the career side, on the knowledge side, I think they're endless. Like I could probably name off 20 people that I speak to on a regular basis that anytime I need insights, anytime I need guidance, they're just good to just give it to me like straight with no BS.
First and foremost, thank you, Sam. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Of course. You've been a friend for a long time.
When you think about your role and as a chief strategy officer, being part of a fast-paced, innovative media company, how do you define strategy? And I know that you're a strategic thinker, but what makes a strategic thinker different from just seeing like strategist on paper?
So I've always been very good at seeing the whole chessboard. Like this is, I think, something that is innately inside of me. I can see the pieces of the pie. So I can see the pieces as it relates to the newsletters and contents we have, the email captures that we utilize. the podcast that we have, those as a distribution channel, the network and the personalities that we have to kind of expand on the reach when we do things. So I think the real core difference between someone who's a strategist is just being able to understand, like I said earlier, the overall like holistic view of how everything works. Finding those silos that fit into the puzzle is another aspect, right? Like I may not be an expert on newsletters, and that's perfectly fine. How do I fill that void? And so I think a strategist really comes down to understanding the holistic view and what it takes to reach that ultimate goal, and how you flywheel every piece of the business in order to build on the other.
Really well said about the flywheel component. Something else that you are good at is finding the right people. Because if you don't know the answer for something or to something, you're like, let me tap into someone. You're very self-aware. And I think that has a lot to do with mentorship. Those that are self-aware and understand where their weaknesses are only helps them get better at both filling the gap of their weaknesses, but also getting stronger because you realize what you're good at.
I think it's ego. I think the less ego you have, the more comfortable you are asking for help. And there's no problem asking for help. And that's across the board. You can be a chief strategy officer at Marketecture, or you could be an account manager at a small 3-person company. The goal here is you should understand where your limitations are, and you should be comfortable with saying, hey, I'm not good at this. Who can assist me in helping it get over the line? And so removing that ego piece of it is such an important aspect of getting it to the next level.
At what stage in your career do you realize that was such a powerful strength?
Probably early on, but I think I wasn't able to apply it for quite some time. 2008, 2007, I worked for that Motor Trend company. We had massive layoffs in the automotive space, as you probably know. In 2007, I was kind of flung to the top and said, lead this small team that used to be 20 and now it was 7. And I was able to just immediately jump in and kind of rally the troops, get them together. Hey, you're really good at this because I worked with you for a year and I know that you're good at it. Let's just run forward. Let's just keep pushing forward until we get to the goal.
I love that. As you're speaking, and I see that you have a handful of
my wall
athletes. Your wall of fame.
My wall of fame.
Your sports memorabilia over your shoulders there. When you think about an athlete that you could look up to in a mentorship way, or when it comes to just how they embody themselves or whatever it might be, that who are some athletes that have made an impact?
Probably these two. I'm a Laker fan, so these two. So definitely Magic Johnson, definitely Shaquille O'Neal. I'm a big Laker fan. I grew up watching the Lakers, especially in the 80s, 90s, when there was like the dynasty.
Come on, you're talking to your friend who's a Bulls fan. Come on, right now,
totally,
Sam.
right? So that's the thing. So like even when you look at, like, I don't have Kobe on here, but I will. I think it comes down to a combination of things. Like, you can have personality like Shaq. You can be yourself. You can be a cheese ball. You can be a DJ. You can enjoy your life. You can be 7'7" and still be and act like you're 18 years old. You should be having fun. Or you can have crazy work ethic like Magic Johnson and push forward and work hard. And your goal is to get a championship ring. I think the thing that they have in common is that they don't let anything stop them. And that means external factors, family problems that have happened. They just keep pushing forward. And the goal here is, hey, I want that championship ring. And when I achieve it, I'm going to get it. And I think it's the hard work that comes through with athletes that shows. It's a wall of champions.
The wall of champions. And there's a lot of perseverance that both you embody, and same with the champions behind you. When is a moment of when you've had to ask someone for help? And what did you learn about that in the process?
I ask for help every week, Jeremy.
Me both.
Career. Yeah. I mean, it is less about the one time I ask for help. It's more about the consistent contact with people that assist you get through the little humps. I think a big mistake people make is they wait until the problem is so big that getting over that hump is just almost impossible. And you find that you have to take drastic changes to your career, to your life. I think the goal here is consistency. How do you consistently seek assistance, mentorship, advisory, guidance on a consistent level for those big bumps to never happen? It's lots of little bumps, and then you can live your life smiling and you can be happy, and you're not dealing with major issues. You're dealing with lots of little ones, and that's okay.
I like that. It is a lot of little bumps, and sometimes people don't necessarily handle perseverance. And the marathon, they look at everything as just a sprint, sprint, sprint,
Yeah.
and they trip over themselves and they fall on their face. When you look at it in a marathon setting, and you're like, there are always going to be hills and peaks and valleys and hurdles, and you just have to create that balance of urgency and patience at the same time.
Totally. Totally.
Um,
Rick Holtman used to say this to me all the time. He said, just keep going. Keep going. Man, I'm tired. This account is not scaling. I don't know what's going on. Just keep going. Just what's the next box to check? Just keep going. And then suddenly it was like, boom, money flowing, accounts scaling, everybody's happy. But it was early on when those check boxes looked endless, where you're overwhelmed. It's only when you start to check them off that you realize, wow, now I'm starting to see the fruit of all my labor and my hard work.
and I happen to know who Rick Holtman is. He's
Yeah.
an awesome exec. But why don't you tell others that are listening or that are watching the video who
Yeah.
Rick is?
Rick Holmes was my former boss at Freewheel. Worked with him for many, many years. Fantastic sales leader. We were in charge of managing a lot of the major broadcasters, publishers in the connected TV space. He then moved to Human, which is like a bot detection company. Also leading a pretty sizable sales work.
When things get chaotic, how do you keep yourself and others aligned? When it was during your half a decade at Freewheel, your few years at T-Mobile, being a consultant, being an advisor, joining the Marketecture team, being part of our crazy growth.
It's just advertising. When I get overwhelmed, like it's just you've seen this before. You've seen like the pressure mount, right? Like you've seen the pressure and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. And then I kind of go for a walk and I sit down and I realize it's just advertising. We're not changing lives here.
Nope.
Yeah, we want to deliver for our clients. Sure, we want the best possible product that comes out of it, but nobody's going to lose their life here. And I think that on its own just kind of gives me this feeling of, all right, just relax, just push through. And so I think a big goal for mine is, don't take it that seriously. Just work hard, do what you need to do. The outcome will happen. And then you'll review, take a look and make adjustments as needed if it hits or doesn't hit what you're supposed to do.
That's really good guidance and feedback for those that are listening and watching. I agree. We're the same age. And when you think through the long game and what comes with work, career, and the juggle of what's really a fire drill, and what can just be answered tomorrow, because you're also a father, a husband, a mother, a daughter, a son, whatever it might be, not you specifically, but for those that are listening, how they can relate to it. I think it's important that you called it out that way. Tell us a little bit more about just the culture of what you're building inside Marketecture. Obviously, I understand and know what it is, but you bring a lot of culture, you bring a lot of community and humor to it. But let's hear about it.
Yeah, for me, I think it is. We are a small team. We're a nimble team. We have a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills, and a lot of dedication to make things work. A big part for me is everybody has a voice. The last thing I want is to create a sort of environment where you cannot speak up. Speak up, even if the other person gets upset, or if they tell you, hey, look, and I've done it, right? Where I get an opinion, I go, look, don't worry, I got it. It's not to be rude. It's to say, thank you, I acknowledge it, but this is the way I'm going to do it, and I'm going to move forward. It's important to be able to create an environment where everybody contributes. It will spark new ideas. It will spark better products and better messaging. There is nothing worse than trying to build a company on the back of one person or one mentality. Everybody is a piece of the pie. Everybody's contributing and everybody has an opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
How do you help those around you grow? Not just in skill, but in confidence, in ownership?
I've always been good at building friendships. And I like, I talk about the flywheel a lot, and we've spoken about this for a few times. We talk about the flywheel of the social aspect, plus the newsletter aspect, plus the podcast and the conferences. So there's a flywheel. There's also a flywheel in the way you work with your teammates. The more rapport you build and the more friendship you build, the more trust you build. The more trust you build, the more that they trust that when you are telling them something, that they're able to kind of read you and understand the importance or the urgency of that request. And so when I deal with Amelia, who's extremely organized, she's like amazing, right?
She's great.
I'm the polar opposite on organization. I'm not insulted that she tells me, hey, Sam, by the way, this needs to happen tomorrow at 8 a.m. I actually appreciate it. I also realize that she appreciates it when I tell her, hey, Amelia, you know what? Tone it down. It's okay. We got 3 days. Like, it's fine. It's 10 minutes.
Totally.
Because we're totally different personalities.
Yeah.
Hannah, same thing. Great perspective, great understanding of PR. David Berkowitz, Ari Paparo, like ad tech, the whole group works
Even
in
ad tech God, for sure.
Ad tech God, like everybody works in a different way. The goal here is don't take it personally. Everything's a flywheel, including your relationships that you build internally and externally.
So that leads us to the next question. How do you personally measure success? And I'm not just talking about the company's success, but your own as a teammate, as a mentor, as an executive within the advertising, marketing, media landscape.
Happiness, content.
I love this.
Sleeping
Keep
well.
on going.
Being satisfied with where you're at in life. Someone's always going to have more than you. I think that's something that I've realized over the last few years. Probably should have realized it much earlier in my career, but I wasn't. I was too busy chasing. I think there's a really healthy balance between realizing where your limits are, also realizing that you live a good life. You're not everyone's going to have the $10 million home or the Ferrari or the Lambo. And I think this is my mentality being young, was I was chasing like the money. I don't chase money anymore. I really chase happiness. I chase the fact that I can provide well. And I think that as a core has become a key driver for me is, am I waking up in the morning feeling happy about what I do? Yes. Proceed. Am I miserable? Yes. I need to stop. And I think that just comes with maturity and growing up.
It does come with growing up. It does come through with experience, humility. But not everyone, because you and I have talked about this as friends, not everyone understands that and or appreciates that. No. And it hits at different points of life. I don't know if it has to do with parenthood. To me, that is a huge component.
Huge component.
But I guess it could also have to do with just understanding what keeps you grounded and what keeps you inspired outside of work. Would it be happiness? And from there, like, what helps as a catalyst to you achieving that level of happiness?
Yeah, I think for me, it's you need to have balance. Like your work has to be balanced with your personal life. And Jeremy, I've worked with you and you have like an insane work ethic. And it's admirable. Like it really is. Like you were.
I have a balance though too, but I appreciate it.
You do, but you are one heck of a hard worker. And
thanks.
I think it's finding that balance to be able to say, look, it is Sunday, and what's done for tomorrow is done. And I know what I need to do when I get in on Monday. So I'm just simply, I'm not going to hop on Slack and I'm not going to hop on email. I'm going to live in the moment with my family, with my wife, with my children, with my friends, and I'm going to enjoy it. And I also think the break is actually the best thing you can do when you work in especially this type of environment. Fast paced, super fast. We have deadlines every day. It's a lot. It's very different than working for a large corporation like Comcast, where you move the needle $1 million. That Comcast doesn't even notice that. That's like their cell phone expenses for like one layer of employees. Like, but for us, that makes a huge difference. And so just being able to find that balance and being able to balance it out with your personal life is important.
Well said. If you could tell your younger self something about leadership, patience, growth, happiness, what would it be? Or it could be more than one.
No, I want to say be content with your abilities, recognize your abilities, and it's okay if you're not in the perfect spot. The perfect spot will happen eventually. Just keep pushing forward.
Keep on pushing forward. That's incredibly concise and relevant advice, period. Any other guidance just for the OhHello community, for those who are midway through their career? Because as you know, Sam, what we're building on the OhHello side is continued mentorship, it's expert guidance, it's sales enablement, it's connection. It's a resource of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of mentors within the business community, whether it's advertising, marketing, media, SaaS, tech, product, engineering, leadership, finance, product, talking to businesses, talking to about a dozen different businesses that use the platform on a daily basis. So I know that was a very long-winded way for me to ask you a question.
Yeah, no, I think one final word is that you're not alone. The struggles you're going through midway in your career, feeling either accepted or not accepted, recognized or not recognized, is totally normal. Everybody goes through this, and you do not have to do it alone. Like, you can find that advisory board. You can find those mentors. You can find those people who can help guide you. You just need to ask. And there's platforms like OhHello that'll help, but generally just ask. Just have the conversation. Ask people, what direction am I heading in? And that doesn't mean it has to be your boss or your coworker. You'll find people who are willing to have these conversations with you.
Before we end, I love that you just said it doesn't have to be your boss. It doesn't have to be your coworker. Nope. It should be external, because the external folks aren't going to give you that same kind of guidance and advice that your friends give you. In the very beginning, you even said, your friends are going to give you the pats on the back. They're going to clap. They're going to say, great job. You're doing great. They're always going to say that. But the ones that aren't in the weeds with you on a daily basis, that can provide an objective lens, are the ones that are going to help create that career flywheel for you.
Totally. 100%. You cannot do it on your own. You need help. You need conversations. It keeps you mentally fit. It keeps you motivated to go forward. Nothing is built by one person. You need to focus and build that people around you who are going to help lift you up, and you in return lift them up as well.
Sam, this has been fantastic. I really appreciate you.
Of course. Thank you, Jeremy.
How much time that you put into your work, building everything for Marketecture, the time that you spend with your family. Thank you for taking time tonight to hop on to talk about OhHello, the other passion of mine.
Totally.
So
of course,
really appreciate it.
I'm sure we'll be on a conference call in 5 minutes anyway, Jeremy.
This time of day, it won't be a conference call, but I'm sure we'll be on a call within some point within the next several hours.
Amazing.
Cool.
Jeremy, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Of course.
Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.